Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. Thanks for joining us today as we celebrate Northern Initiative's 30th anniversary and having made $100 million in loans to small businesses. My name is Alyssa Sangali, and I am the president of Northern Initiatives. And we're so pleased to be able to celebrate with you. Whether you're a funder, a donor, a board member, or a staff person, or one of our special customers, we couldn't be here without you. We're being helped today by Mark Wilson of New Leonard Media, a native-owned multimedia studio in Traverse City. I'm sitting right here in that studio. Thank you, Mark. And to everyone who donated to receive a gift box, we hope that you're enjoying your Cafe Rica coffee, Donker's candy, and your Stormy Cromer can covers. Our customers are such amazing partners in our work and very generous. We actually reached $100 million in loans at the beginning of, or at the end of last year. And this year, so far to date, we've made another 7 million more. We anticipate that goal will continue to rise over the course of the year, and we're so proud to be able to invest in our partners around the state. As we were putting today together, we took several trips through the past, and we're going to begin with our origin story, which is pretty inspiring and is truly part of a national effort to help more underserved entrepreneurs throughout the United States. Over the course of today, we'll hear from customers and longtime partners, and we're grateful that they've had faith in us from the very beginning. It's a feeling that we hope to pass on to our customers, that faith that we believe they can start and grow something great. We know everyone is busy, and so we're going to keep on schedule, I promise. Let's get started. First up, we have our founders and current board members, Mary Houghton, Ron Grzywinski, and Fred Joyle, talking about the very beginnings of Northern Initiatives 30 years ago. The partnership between Shorebank and Northern Michigan University, which was truly revolutionary. During its 37 years, Shorebank Corporation became the U.S.'s leading social enterprise, and in 2008 held 2.8 billion in assets. It was the largest community development finance institution in the country. And Northern Michigan University continues to be our strong partner today.
I was a faculty member in the Department of Geography in late 70s, early 80s. And I had long been interested in regional economics, let's say. I mean, why things were where they were. I mean, I was a geographer after all. But anyway, as a faculty member, I was interested in regional economics in the Upper Peninsula. That, you know, at the time, it was its history had been extractive economics, forestry, mining, you know, even fishing, although fishing had gone down. And in the local area, there was an Air Force base. In fact, my first exposure to the Upper Peninsula was when I was stationed at that Air Force base. When I got out of the Air Force, I finished an undergraduate degree at Northern Michigan University and then left for the University of Iowa to get a PhD and thought I'd never come back. And I actually then, as things worked out, they had a job in the geography department at the right time, and I ended up coming back to Northern Michigan University in the Upper Peninsula. But as a faculty member, I was interested in, you know, looking at what was going on in the economy in the local area. I had a full-time job as a faculty member, and I was using a graduate assistant to do a lot of the data collection. You know, we were looking at the data, talking to others at the university, and it was clear that the economy of the Upper Peninsula was suffering. It was decided that we should set up a unit within the university that would provide consulting services to businesses in towns regarding what they might do, you know, to improve.
In those early years, the Ford Foundation only made grants. We were always looking for investment more than grants. They didn't have an investment product. So in the 70s and 80s, we very slowly built a relationship with Ford, and they developed a program area for rural investment and granting. And because of that, and because of many other things, which is a long story, we ended up buying a bank in Arkansas and running a rural economic development program in southern Arkansas. And so those people in the rural part of the Ford program funding area told Richard that there was this bank doing rural lending in Arkansas and maybe he should check us out. The next thing that happened was that we said to Richard, why don't you come to visit this program that this bank and nonprofit that we have in Arkansas? Because it's another rural program and we can get to know each other and talk and whatever.
People wanted to go into a gift shop or something like that that sold local goods. And we had gotten to know Richard well enough, and there was conversation going on during this trip to Arkansas. And I think Richard and I were stuck in the van alone, and I turned around, as I recall, and said to Richard, why don't we do something together? We saw it as an unprecedented but promising model for local economic development, with a local college lining up with a regulated bank holding company to create a subsidiary to do what we planned to do.
I used to say that it was the first such partnership between a university and a bank, and it may still be the first.
The founding idea was probably Richard meeting with Ron and Mary and talking about it, and then coming back to campus and, saying we could spin this off. I didn't know about Shore Bank at the time, so I had to, sort of be educated. Ron and Mary in particular, but there are two other founders of Shore Bank as well, became sort of heroes for me. Northern gave them honorary degrees. James Fletcher, Milton Davis were the other two founders of Shore Bank, along with Ron and Mary. What that enabled us to do when we spun it off as a 501c3, you'll have to ask them for the details about this, but that was before the CDFI. They were CDFI, but Northern Initiatives was not. But I believe we were able to become a BIDCO, which is a business and industry development company, and make loans. And the BIDCO made the first loans. And the first loan we made, I believe, was $1 million. The company that is the forestry company at Sawyer. Now, are you familiar? Out at Sawyer is, it's actually where the atom bombs are stored, is a large forestry operation. And there were two local in the region entrepreneurs that were foresters that started that. And we were nervous every day. Like literally all of our fish were in the same barrel, so to speak. And if that loan went under, we were going to be in trouble. But what happened is, after about maybe a year, if that much, one of the major lumber companies, Ron and Mary might remember, or one of them might remember, but came in and bought the operation out, and we got paid back. Another part of this was, the base had closed. So getting a relatively big company in there that would employ a number of people was a big deal.
Thank you so much, Ron, Mary, and Fred. It is a privilege to have you as board members, and I continue to learn from you as we move forward. I also want to just make the connection that visit Mary mentioned to Arkansas that helped inspire the creation of Northern Initiatives was also significant because later President Clinton was inspired by that work and would go on to create the federal CDFI fund. Northern Initiatives was there at the beginning. Next up, we're going to hear from Dennis West, the longest serving president of Northern Initiatives. Dennis actually selected me for this role, and I am forever grateful. It's an honor and a privilege. Dennis retired in 2020, and he, during his tenure at Northern Initiatives, really helped transition the organization from its Upper Peninsula roots into the geography we cover today, expanding throughout Michigan. Those were some hard shoes to fill, Let's hear from Dennis.
Well, I came to Northern Initiatives around Labor Day in 1997, and and I was attracted to it for the reasons that it had its affiliation with Shore Bank and such a strong commitment from Northern Michigan University. So what you got with Shore Bank was the ability to have some shared services and a network of peers to learn with and manage with. And what you got from Northern Michigan University was the connections throughout the service area of the Upper Peninsula, plus their financial commitment, which was substantial. We had, I think, a really nice run in Northern Lower Michigan, and we went from working in 15 counties to 51 counties. And then we had the chance to expand further. And some of that was launched with the support of community foundations. So two things were happening simultaneously. One was that we were starting to work with community foundations, and the second was that we were starting to work with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, and the Kellogg Foundation was also an important supporting vehicle for all of this activity. So what does all this mean? Well, I think it meant for us that we made good decisions about developing the coaching aspect as a critical complement to lending. And that translated into pretty low loss rates, into the ability to some years have half of your loans go to startups, which in most people's views would be a very risky thing to do. And to continue to grow our lending capacity to serve communities and to be able to allow that to be a catalytic effect, causing other people to see themselves as being able to do a business too. And that's particularly impacted some communities of color, and you know, those are things that we I think really feel good about the kind of work that we have been able to do, focused on that thing that we said we'd never do, which was to support startups.
And I believe next we'll be hearing from Governor Whitmer, Senator Stabenow, and Senator Peters.
Hello, Northern Initiatives, and congratulations on 30 years. Your dedication to building up Michigan's economy and ensuring equal access to resources for small businesses is unmatched. Over 3 decades, you deployed 1,800 loans totaling more than $100 million. These were investments in Michiganders with dreams of owning and growing their own businesses. And as you know, our local businesses are the backbone of our economy, helping maintain main streets and making our communities better places to live and work. Because of you, the strong small businesses you've supported have created and retained nearly 3,000 jobs. So thank you once again for your diligence and decades of hard work. Here's to 30 more.
I'm U.S. Senator Gary Peters, and I just want to take a moment to congratulate Northern Initiatives as you celebrate your 30th anniversary. It's no secret that small businesses are the backbone of our state's economy. And for 30 years, Northern Initiative has been an invaluable resource for Michiganders who want to start their own business. You provided countless entrepreneurs with the tools necessary to succeed and take their businesses to the next level. And when these innovative businesses succeed, they provide quality jobs for Michiganders. Organizations like Northern Initiatives are essential for creating jobs and growing our economy. And that's why I fought to include $354 million for the Community Development Financial Institutions Fund, a significant increase over previous funding levels in this year's Senate appropriations legislation. I'm going to keep fighting to get this funding passed into law so we can continue providing these important resources in communities all across our state. So once again, congratulations to Northern Initiatives on this important milestone, and I wish you the best of luck in the future.
Good afternoon and happy 30th anniversary to Northern Initiatives. I think I've been with you most of those 30 years. And I want to say a special thank you to your CEO, Alyssa Sangali, and everyone who is working so hard at Northern Initiatives. For 30 years, you all have been opening doors for small businesses and underserved entrepreneurs in the UP and all across Michigan. We all know that small businesses are the backbone of our state's economy, employing over half the people in Michigan who are employed in the private sector. By supporting entrepreneurs and small business owners, you've played a key role in keeping our economy strong and resilient. Northern Initiatives has supported, as you know, over 400 startups, created and retained over 7,000 jobs, and funded over 100 million loans. I've been really proud to advocate for federal funding for you, and I've been very proud in general to be your partner. So here's to 30 more years of supporting our wonderful small businesses and entrepreneurs and ensuring all of our communities thrive.
Thank you so much to Governor Whitmer, Senator Peters, and Senator Stabenow for all of your support and for your partnership in doing the work that we do. Senator Stabenow, we know that you retire at the end of this year and you will be missed. You've been a terrific champion for us, especially as we have expanded our work in rural places throughout Michigan. Thank you for your leadership within the Farm Bill. And I want to thank Governor Whitmer and her team as well for the leadership and in partnering with Northern Initiatives and the Michigan CDFI Coalition to create the largest state CDFI fund in the nation. To date, we have received $94 million in allocation. The CDFI fund has received $94 million, not Northern Initiatives specifically. And those are funds that Michigan CDFIs are able to use to provide affordable and flexible financing around the state to support the kind of small business work that Northern Initiatives does, but also affordable housing initiatives. The impact is truly felt in every community. I'd be remiss without mentioning a few other partners that have been essential to our work. As Dennis mentioned, Northern Initiative started in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, but we've now expanded around the state, serving everywhere except the Detroit metro area. And when it was necessary to expand, we did that in partnership with our funders. I'm pleased to share that we're working with 7 different community foundations around the state to make investments in those places, but also with the W.K. Kellogg Foundation. And we are really honored that Northern Initiatives was actually the Kellogg Foundation's first program-related impact investment. They've now made many more around the country. And that original PRI with Northern Initiatives has turned into a partnership that over the years has helped more than 135 entrepreneurs launch and grow, and also provided opportunities for businesses to receive educational classes and training to put together their very business plan in Battle Creek, Michigan specifically. And Jamie Schreiner, our program director at the Kellogg Foundation, will explain more.
Congratulations, Northern Initiatives. At the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, we're driven by the vision of a world where every child has the opportunity to thrive. Yet the systems that most affect young children, food, health, education, and the economy, are not working for everyone. This has lifelong consequences for children, families, and communities. With children at the center, our work supports community-driven solutions. We fund programs, services, and efforts to change systems so they work better for everyone. By listening to communities, developing leaders, and working toward racial equity and racial healing, we're joining partners to help children and families have the greatest opportunities for success. We've been partners with Northern Initiative since the very beginning. starting first with support to small businesses in Northern Michigan. Today, Northern Initiative serves nearly all of Michigan with loans to support small businesses and entrepreneurs. They've been incredible partners in Battle Creek, the hometown of the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, creating the first small business loan fund to provide necessary capital, and now hosting cohort trainings several times per year for entrepreneurs and small businesses. To date, the Battle Creek Loan Fund has provided 21 active loans currently at close to $2.5 million currently on the books. They've also provided 39 loans that have closed, totaling nearly $4.4 million. They have had an incredible impact on our community. We're so thankful for the partnership and Northern Initiative's commitment to racial equity and Michigan's small business growth. Happy anniversary, congratulations, and cheers to another 30 years.
Thank you, Jamie, and thank you, Kellogg Foundation. Of course, our work covers the entire state, from Battle Creek to Bessemer, Copper Harbor to Kalamazoo. And when I think back to my first few months at Northern Initiatives, I have to admit it was quite the ride. For those of you who don't know, I started in March of 2020, mere days before the pandemic lockdown. And it was so amazing to watch our entire staff pivot and continue helping customers, even in the midst of our own lives being uprooted. We switched, of course, to working from home, which most of us had never done. We contacted 98% of our customers within the first 15 days of the lockdown. During this hectic and scary time, we arranged for deferrals and modifications, but we also helped with ideas and workarounds, like creating drive-through lanes for contactless pickup, online ordering, and technology advances. We added COVID-related resources to initiate, and we listened and supported a lot of concerned customers, just providing a shoulder to cry on. When the Small Business Administration's Paycheck Protection Program was announced, we kept going, helping small business owners, many of whom had no previous connection with Northern Initiatives, get a forgivable loan to pay their employees. We helped 88 small business owners through this program, loaned more than $1 million, and 100% of those loans were forgiven. The pandemic disrupted a lot of things, but it also helped create things too. Let's hear from some of those creative customers now.
Because it's got the dark center. You can tell the apple. That's how I can tell the difference in the apple. My hickory. Take the big pieces. Go ahead and cross like that. I don't like saying barbecue because people think that barbecue is, you got one of those little round Weber grills. I like to call it smoking perfection. Hey, my name's John Christopher Capers. Everybody knows me as Chris. I'm the owner of Pop's Family Kitchen in Battle Creek, Michigan. It's food that feeds and comforts the soul, man. I knew how to cook. I could cook my butt off, but I did not know how to manage. I was introduced to Northern Initiative, and then all of a sudden she was like, well, hey, we're getting ready to start a business class. Start to learn how to manage your inventory a lot better. You start to learn how to manage your finances a lot better. The class was 10 weeks long, and in the class you have 2 business coaches, and man, that was godsend. I'm getting ready to launch my line of seasoning rubs. I also make my own barbecue sauce. I'm hoping to be able to be on the shelves in stores. For me, the class, next level. It's what I needed. Things have really started picking up.
So back when I first started making lures, I was actually making them out of my bedroom. Next winter, we'll be in 54 Meijer stores across the Midwest. I'm Caitlin Beaver. I'm 20 years old, and I started a lure company called Beaver's Lures. I was 18 at the time. It was kind of right when COVID started. So I was out of school, out of work. There wasn't much you could go do, but I was fishing a ton. And that's kind of how it all started. Being 18 years old, fresh out of high school, you don't have a credit score. So we went through Northern Initiatives, took out a small loan. We did it all over email, so it was super simple. So that initial financing really helped me buy bulk lure parts, get the equipment I needed, and it really just helped me get started with production. Northern Initiatives was a great option for me.
We knew we had a great concept and a great idea. We didn't know how, but we knew that we was going to create this dream that we had.
I'm Nadia Brigham.
And I'm Shaitan Brigham, and we're the owners of GR Noir Wine and Jazz in downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan.
We didn't want to approach any entity that wouldn't be in it with us, for us. It has to feel mutual. And I think that that's the difference with Northern Initiative. There's more than the bottom line at stake for who they are.
And they allowed us to be who we are. You know, we're Black business owners. We're a Black couple. We're very proud of that, because Black culture is everyone's culture. That's why we're so diverse. You get people who come in here from all background and races and feel like they're at home. It's like, yeah, you are. I don't care what you look like. And so Northern Initiative allowed us to be who we are and to help us bring our vision to life. So for us, we were slated to open April of 2020. COVID hit in March. Had, Northern Initiative not been flexible or understanding,
We'd have been done.
we wouldn't have opened our doors. There's no way we could have, made it happen.
The level of support, without judgment, without hesitation, without short-temperedness, that Northern Initiative surrounded us with was incredible. I would tell those who are considering their life path to consider entrepreneurship.
And not to be afraid. Embrace the mistakes, embrace the struggles. If it's in you, bring it out.
Everybody comes from different backgrounds and has different situations, but Northern Initiatives is definitely a great way to start out.
So what you waiting on? You can do it.
Aren't they wonderful? We feature one customer and a success story each month, so make sure that you are subscribed to our newsletter. We're putting a link in the chat right now, as well as our holiday gift guide. We're in a new era for mission lending, and we're committed to helping our customers enhance their climate resilience and decrease their greenhouse gas emissions. For the past 2 winters, there hasn't been enough snow to run the UP 200, an iconic dog sled race that brings thousands of people to the Upper Peninsula. Without this event and those people, we saw our customers in Marquette and beyond really struggling. Without snow, some businesses never opened. The entire winter last year was eventually declared a disaster by Governor Whitmer, and unfortunately, it's likely the beginning of a trend. Major storms in the Muskegon area this summer knocked out power for hours for miles around. One of our bakery owners, a customer of ours, watched as her inventory melted and spoiled. She lost $3,000 overnight, and it was truly heartbreaking. There are ways to mitigate disasters like this before they happen, with solar energy, battery storage, generators, equipment, and updates and changes. We are going to go full force into making sure that our customers have access to these technologies. We're also supporting farmers as they work to heal the soil and capture more carbon, reducing overall greenhouse gas emissions. Luis Chen Aguilera is doing such great work in a company in Grand Rapids, Michigan, with his Wormies vermiculture farm. Let's hear from Luis.
We are in the business of regenerating soil by composting food scraps with worms. I started Wormies for one simple reason. I wanted to grow my own food in the healthiest manner. The more I worked in composting, the more I got in touch with the issues of food waste. 45% of waste that goes to the landfill is compostable.
Composting is an action that you and I can take to contribute to the natural cycles of life. We can divert waste from landfills where it doesn't go away and use it instead to create, to give back to the nature, to the soil that gives to us.
I pick up from our residential service. We drive them back to the farm here and I dump them. And then we're gonna add wood chips over this. We also add in biochar and then we'll flip it in the process too.
After the pre-composting phase, we lay these windrows. Then we add worms. We use red wiggler worms. We feed your food scraps to worms. In turn, the worms will poop and they're gonna inoculate these pellets of poop with growth hormones, enzymes, and nutrients.
And just 1 teaspoon of healthy compost, there's more microbes than there are people on this planet. It is diverse biology that will team up with your plants and act as their immune system, keep them healthy, keep them free of pests and pathogens, while remediating any toxins. And it's just the building blocks for life. It's got everything that you need.
So when we first started Wormies, the idea of a composting service at the residential level was new. It was a new idea. We were a new company, so traditional lending was impossible to get. So through Northern Initiatives, I was able to easily get access to funding for the startup phase. We were able to set up the infrastructure for the farm. We put a greenhouse, we bought some equipment, a skid steer. Lending, it levels the playing field for businesses. I think it's really important for companies doing good work, work that helps the environment, to be supported, to be supported. So my hope, is that 10 years down the line, composting is a common practice and landfills do not exist.
Thanks, Luis. Luis is a great steward of the soil and of community. We're proud to share that we partnered with other mission lenders on his loan and that those partnerships are strong in our industry. Unlike other aspects of the finance field, the CDFI world is not competitive, it's collaborative. It's one of the most supportive industries out there as we work to get our customers across the finish line and on to building their dreams. Again, we are so grateful to you and for the multiple ways you all have contributed to Northern Initiatives and our 30 years of lending. Thank you for helping us celebrate those 30 years, having made $100 million in loans, and please continue to share our story, sending customers to us and partners. We're excited to meet even more Michigan entrepreneurs, and we're just getting started. So let's all raise our glass and toast to a great 30 years. Here's to 30 more. Thanks.